Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. This is where I talk about random topics while I drive to work. Usually hyped up on coffee. Shouting at people, swearing, stuttering, doing a lot of weird stuff. Anyway, probably. Testing the boundaries of sanity. Who knows? Right, there is a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do talk about sensitive topics. And I do go on tangents, so I'm very old. Which means that everything's connected and I'm tired, so I will cycle through the same shit. So if you find that incredibly boring, or if you don't want to hear me say stutter's already kicking in because I'm tired, and you don't want to hear me say a lot of swear words, then I suggest switching off. And I won't take offense, you know. I'll be alright with that. It's okay. Oh my god, I'm so fucking tired this morning though. It's like Thursday and it's like my low energy day. So if I do stutter, I give you full permission to smack me on the back of the head. And hopefully it'll reset the system. So just one good one should do it, you know. Take me back to my childhood. Right, the topic for today is, as I approach this horrible intersection with creepy dudes and vans staring at me, manifestation. What are you doing? They're just rolling through. They're doing 10 in a 60 zone. You can't be serious, dude. People got to get to work. You're in the way. Right. Shouldn't be driving. Manifestation now. This is a bit tricky because people seem to think it's just wishing. It is not just wishing. You actually have to put some fucking effort in it. Manifestation is a case of wishing for something, yes, but at the same time putting the hours in and trying to make the opportunity appear. The universe will make the opportunity appear so long as you put the time in to make, you know, say the proverbial tracks for the train to come. It's, you know, effort versus matching opportunity. And that's with everything. It's like lots of people just sitting there wishing for $1 million and to win the lotto. It's like, have you actually bought a ticket? Have you bothered, you know, having the money to buy the ticket? Have you put the effort in at all, in any kind of fucking way? So it's a bit odd that people might just sit on their ass, do nothing, and say, why didn't I get what I wanted? You know, it's insane. I mean, oh, I'm so fucking tired. For example, right now, I am completely burning not just the candle at both ends, I'm burning the fucking house down that contained the candle because I'm trying so fucking hard with that hyper focus to get what I need to get done in order to reach my goals. And my goals are pretty, I want to say urgent, but I'm not. It's more, at this point, it looks like I'm being materialistic, but I'm not. I promise I'm not, because I'm just so hyper focused on getting this one goal done that I want it done now. And I have no patience for waiting around, piss farting around. So it's like when I start something, I'm like, right, hyper focus, we're going to get it done now, get it the fuck out of the way. It's usually heavily caffeinated endeavor. But you know the shit's going to get done. I'm not fucking around. Manifestation at this point, for example, the main reason I'm going to work and I'm working my ass off and working before work and then working after work and on my businesses and such is because I just want that fucking house. It's like, I've been waiting for so fucking long to get my house and my home, my stable position at this point. And a lot of people my age are doing it as well because it's getting harder and harder just to get a fucking house. I'm stoked that the other day I got pre-approval from the bank. I'm like, I can't believe you fuckers think I'm grown up enough to fucking do this, but okay, let's go. Weird. It's like, I know I'm old, but I don't know. You know I still sleep with a stuffed crocodile, right? No, they don't know that? Fantastic. No one tell them. I would say. But you know, it's working your ass off. I know that if I didn't, you know, put the time and effort into doing the hours, I wouldn't have the deposit. I wouldn't have the paperwork to say you've got the credit to do this. It's like when I applied for my last apartment, I didn't think I would get it. It's a rental, but I didn't think I'd get it because I was so used to living in shit conditions. But when the real estate people look at your paperwork and they go, well, actually, you can afford it. Then you go, okay, so you're sort of, you know, realizing maybe I did put the hours in and I just didn't realize that I was okay with this. And so it was another second surprise when I applied for an actual mortgage loan. I'm sitting there going, Maybe I did put the hours in. Maybe I did do the time. So I was pretty chuffed about that. Because when you're in the thick of it, you don't see it. When you're in the field, in the trenches, you're not fucking looking at the end goal. You're sitting going, I just need to deal with this right here, right now. What can I do at this very moment that makes this shit work and happen? As far as I knew, it was just trudging along. You're also set your goal, which might be right at the end. You set your goal and you say, okay, that's where I'm going to. I know these are small increment steps to get there. I need to get there every day, put something in and keep going. That's part of my SD. I put plans like a motherfucker. Everything is planned to the dot. It's like when I go traveling with my sister, my younger sister Pookie. Last trip we did together, I think it was 2018 or something like that. No, it was before that. Anyway, all she had to do was just hang on for the ride. It's like I had already pre-planned all the hotels, the car hire, where we're going. I said, do you want to go anywhere extra than this? I gave her the basic map, the itinerary and everything. I'm going, what do you want to do? Do you want to do anything extra than that? She's like, no, I'm just fine for the ride, because she's a bit of a free spirit. And I'm like, okay, passenger princess, let's fucking go. And she was like, and we were going on tour and she was stoked. But that's my SD kicking in. She's got ADD. She's the opposite. She's like, I just want to be everywhere. It's like, no, we need hyper focus for this. So, that's one of the traits of autism that's actually quite useful for a manifestation, because you know the steps and where you want to get to and what the main goal and directive is. Which is why I find when I'm left to my own devices that I manifest quite fucking easily. I've got no distractions. Which is a blessing in itself. Everyone keeps saying it's a disability or a disorder. I'm sitting there going, are you sure? Because I am super fucking productive at this point. If you fuckers just leave me alone. It's like, I know where I'm going. I know how to get there. I've got the discipline and I'm hyper-focused to get there. It's usually when other people get involved that you'll find that your manifestations might become derailed, because you're trying to take into consideration. Now, I'm a people pleaser because my parents are insane and they raised me that way. You just be nice to everyone, it'll be fine. It's not actually, because sometimes you got to defend yourself and your honor and all this extra shit because people are nasty, but at the same time, what is that? Oh, it's probably not. At the same time, it's when you try, that's the tricky part, is when you're trying to get other people involved. Like at the moment, because I was raised a people pleaser, I have trouble doing things for myself. I'm constantly externalizing my goals. It's like I work better working towards something for someone else, weirdly. The way my parents raised me was that to be thinking about yourself was selfish. So it's best to do for others. So it's a constant life of service. But their end goal was to put me in service to them. The thing is, like, we look after our parents. Well, I did. We looked after our parents in terms of keeping the house running and stuff like that when we were kids. When we moved out, we had some freedom. But the end goal for them was to make us, care for us in old age as well. It's like, but I already cared for you when I was a kid. It's like, but they wanted that kind of conditioning. That's the problem. I have trouble manifesting for myself. So it's a very mindful exercise where you have to start setting goals and steps and directives for yourself and how you're going to get there and what time you're going to put aside some self-love, essentially, to, and self-care, saying, I need to do this. I want to do this for myself and this is how I'm going to do it. There's a lot of wishful thinking involved, but it always gets, well, not always, there is a propensity for it to get derailed by someone else's input. And I'm not saying self-isolate, but for me, self-isolating does work. Because I've got no one to please to keep it running. I've got no one to, piss my money on, It's just a case of, this is the directive, these are the steps we're going forward, this is it. And it's a hyper-focus thing as well. It's autism and it's also trauma. So, it's, some people are like, how do you keep your focus? I'm mentally messed up in the head. But it's a gift. It's a gift. Alright, so how can you actually manifest? Now, that I'm biased, of course. I've got traits. I get distracted, but it's usually when I involve other people. If I was just on my own, I'd be alright. It's like when I go food shopping. It's like I can't go food shopping with other people because I'm picking up everything off the shelf. I have to go on my own, get in, get out, and get the fuck on with it. It's the same with manifesting. For me, For other people, it might be different. Some people like the support of other people giving them ideas. It's like, I already got the idea. So I know what I want to do. Let's go. When I start taking into account other people's input, that's where it becomes clouded. Because I'm like, well, how can I do what I want to do? And how can I also do what they want to do? Which is tricky, because what they want to do sometimes conflicts with what I want to do. For example, when I was in my last relationship, it's like, what did I want to do? I wanted to build a home and get my shit going, which is what I'm doing now in isolation. Hermit mode, they call it in the esoteric terms. But I won't even say my partner, because he wasn't. The person I was with at the time, his goals were to basically socially infiltrate a young group of 20-year-old somethings. And belong to that group, if not take it over. This is my take on it. I'm sitting there thinking tactics. I'm going, I know why you're here. I know what you want. I know why you're acting that way. I've already written this down and written it out and thought about it and brainstormed. It's like, what were you getting out of this? I've already considered every angle of this because I am an overthinker. I'm sitting going, this is fucked, and I'm out. But at the same time, he wanted something that wasn't in line with what I wanted. I didn't want to do all that social shit. I wanted stability. And the kind of lifestyle he chose was not stable at all. It was very fluid and transient and not stable, because everything was being constantly undermined, backstabbing, all this extra social shit. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, this is going nowhere, so I'm going to take myself out of this. I can't say that I manifested the eviction, because I didn't see it coming. Obviously, someone must have done that for me. It's like, thanks, guys. That's the thing. It's like, if you ever wanted someone out of the picture, so what do? You manifest them getting fucked off. Okay. But it was a blessing. I was taken out of that picture, and I did a lot better on my own. So whoever was, I don't know really, because why would you want me out of the picture? I don't know. Seems conniving, but I don't care. Whoever it was, it helped me, so thanks. But yeah, you manifest better things when you have clarity of vision. My clarity of vision happens when I work alone. I just work better alone. I've always been alone, so it's like, this is the natural inclination for me, in my own little ASD world. If you want to start interacting with people and getting their input, see, this is why I sucked at team sports. I'm never good with that. It's just because I don't get it. Everybody's got their own opinion and arsehole. You're sitting there taking on too many things on board, and it's like too many cooks in the kitchen situation. My stutter's kicking in. But you need to find a level ground and a compromise, so that everybody's needs getting met. That's where it gets tricky. Small factors to try and get involved and figure out and see what you can actually do. It also might take a lot more time and effort, because you want to cover all the bases. That's where it gets tricky. So what can you do? Find your directive first. I mean, behind everything that's manifesting is the end goal of where you want to get to, what you want to achieve. Bearing in mind that it's got to be ethical. They're not going to help you if you're going to be a dick. I don't think they would. They being the divine. If you're going into the esoteric, spiritual side of things. Even if you're just going into logical pre-planning and prepping, you still need a directive. You need a goal. Is it ethical? Because even if you're not going into the spiritual side of things, if it's unethical, usually the law steps in and says, no. I want to be a millionaire. What are you going to do? I'm going to rob a bank. It's like, that's not ethical. You won't get away with that. No, we won't get away with it. Damn it. I've seen so many movies that seem so realistic. It's not realistic, and it's never that good. And no one's ever that prepped. And the Deus Ex Machina is never that great. It's like, no one's going to help you with that shit. So, you gotta find your directive. What's the main goal, the umbrella term for what you're reaching for, and then you find your subset aspects, your directive, which is like, what steps do I need to get there? What mini goals should I be setting within this umbrella goal in order to achieve that? How do I allot time to putting in time to... Sorry, I'm so high on coffee right now. How do I find time to contribute to this mini goal so that I know collectively at the end they're going to become this major goal? which is tricky as well, because if your life's more complicated, like if you're married and you got kids and you got a mortgage and a job, even though you might have these mini goals that you want to achieve in a day, you still need to factor in all the other things that take up your time and energy. Another blessing I've got is that I have no kids. I have a job. I have no partner. I have no one. So it's just me to worry about. So it's pretty easy. I mean, it does get a bit of a struggle when you're carrying the full load of everything. But at the same time, it's a worthy struggle for me because I know I can just get on and going with it. So I've got the freedom of knowing that I don't have to keep bailing someone out. It would be different if I had a partner that was of equal yoke, who was willing to put the same effort in. But I tell you what, they're fucking hard to find. Few hard to find, you know? Far between. Few and far between, that's the phrase. It's like, yeah. So, you know, I've had 2 now where I was carrying the bulk of the arrangement. So it's a case of, whilst it did strengthen me, I got used to working for 2, as they do when you're pregnant. You say eating for 2. It's like when you're married, you're working for 2, or when you're in a shit relationship, I should say, you're working for 2. The muscles I gained from, or the, you know, capability muscles, I should say, that I gained from carrying both of us, when I got out of the relationship or situationship, meant that I was a lot stronger, that I could do more, that I had less things in my way, like I had more time, I had more resources, because I got so used to paying out, for example, for someone else, especially when I was married, that I found that when I left that arrangement, I had all this money left over, and I'm like, well, my needs are very minimal. I don't actually spend a lot on me because I don't have any fucked up habits like smoking or drinking or anything. So I just tend to bank that shit a lot. So it's like, it's like, what do I spend in a week? Like, not a lot, no. So I just put it aside, and I'm sitting there going, well, it seems to be accumulating quite well. So let's turn it to something interesting. I thought at the start, when I started my Spartan project, which was just essentially living how I used to live when I was a kid and trying to remember all the tricks and you know, hacks that my parents were doing when we were little, just trying to survive in poverty. I thought I would struggle. So I went a little bit over the top with my trying to get things organized and scrape money and stuff like that, when in reality I didn't really need to go that far. But it was fun because it was a strategy of, you know, remembering and tweaking and refining as well. I love the game of that, the strategy behind that, which was interesting. It was nice to see what I could remember. I'm going, what did we used to do when we were kids? What did we do when we were students? And to anyone who's like living in the convenience or comfort side of things in the outer world, I should say, because I do create like a little bubble for this project. Some of the things I'm doing, they might look at and go, that's fucking insane. And you go, yeah, probably, but it's fun. It's fun for me. It's not fun for you. Yeah, I just like the challenge. I fucking love it. I'm having fun. So it's nearly over now because I'm finishing it on July 1st. And it's May 19th, I think, today, or something like that. So it's nearly done. So I'm a little bit sad. So I might carry it on a little bit further just to see what else I can pick up. But I've kept a journal as well. Just like tricks and trades. And I'm trying to remember, because in the future I might need it again. So if I write it down, at least I'll remember. But it's been fun. And I manifested that. And I'm sitting there going, part of manifesting is also strategy, developing how you're going to go ahead with this. It's not just a case of, I wish I could get this. It's a case of, okay, I've got a wish. How am I going to work with that and get on with it? What do I need to do? What do I need to cut out? What do I need to introduce? What do I, it's always a question of tweaking, refining, and getting on with it. A lot of people lack resilience when it comes to, failure. At the same time, they might manifest something amazing, get halfway through, and then be faced with this, semi-roadblock. And then go, fuck it, this is a bad idea, I don't want to do it. See, that could go two ways. It could be a really good idea and you're just not putting enough effort in, or it could be a bad idea and you just wasted a bunch of, a bunch of energy and resources trying to make it work. So that's a bit of hit and miss with me. That's what I do with relationships as well. Terrible. There's always the constant question, so should I stay or should I go? Also a good song. Who did that song? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to get that stuck in your head. But at the same time, you got to question, and you got to know when to cut off as well. That's the problem. You might get a project rolling, and it seems good for a while, but then it starts to plummet, and you think, should I keep going or should I not keep going? That's when you got to know when to quit. I have trouble with that because I'm stubborn, but at the same time, it's like some things stand out where you just know this is not going anywhere. I've become better at, with more exposure, you become better at identifying bits that aren't going to work. You sit there and think, well, this is not even the ground foundations for anything that's stable. The ingredients are shit. I'm not making this cake. I can see where this might go. It's like you learn to predict where they might go. Project-wise, sometimes you get a curveball and it's a pleasant surprise. You go, oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's nice to find nice surprises in a project. Like, and you start introducing extra bits as well, which add to it as well. Like finding houses in areas that you didn't know you could or wanted to apply for. It's just that you get there and you go, oh, this is actually quite a nice area. It's like, I might add this area into my list of where I want to buy a house. It's quite cool. That's just one example, of course. So you've got your main goal, you've got your sub goals, you've got your approach. You need to be persistent, but you also need to know when to pull back. You've got to be mindful of people that you live with, I expect, if you are living with someone as well, because if you want to keep anything like a relationship going, that's a good relationship, bearing in mind they should be understanding of what you're trying to manifest. If they're complaining that you're putting too much energy into it, you need to actually assess whether you are putting too much energy into it, or are they just trying to take your energy off you. It's a weird hit and miss as well there as well. If they loved you, they should be supportive. Okay, they should be able to see the end goal and say, okay, so you need to put this time in. So I'm gonna, give you a bit of grace there. If this person, this is just like people you live with, if this person is actively going out of the way to take your time up, resources, then complaining when you actually do want to put time into your projects and stuff like that, they're probably not the good one. They're probably not a person you want to keep around you. And I'm not saying selfishly absorb yourself into your projects and give up on your marriage or anything like that, but if you can see that their input isn't going to help both of you in the long term, then it's probably not worth keeping them around. Which is horrible, because at the time you might be married to him or something. You're like, that's my wife. I'm like, well, she's not helping. It's like my ex-husband. I was trying to run businesses and work full time, and I was sitting there trying to support both of us. And what did he want to do? He's like, I want to be a personal trainer. It's like, how the fuck is that helping both of us? I'm carrying the main bulk of the weight, and you're not contributing at all to this project of stability. I'm going, you fuckers. And in the end, at one point, he even brought up the conversation of having a free ride. It's like, what do you think a free ride is? I'm going, well, I thought it was something that you look after someone because you love them. If they're not doing well, you look after them. That's codependence. That's not he just wanted a free ride. I'm going, you need to get off your ass and work, dude. And he tried to phrase it where it was, you need to look after someone, even if they're not willing to put the effort in. But ultimately, he just didn't want to get a fucking job. And he was quite happy with, playing on my fucking emotions and shit to keep the ball rolling for him. You do get male gold diggers, funny enough. It's weird. But of course, then my ego stepped in and said, I need to do this to prove my worth. And it's like, well, actually, I don't, because I'm carrying too much burden as it is, and it's making me sick. My worth is in my accomplishments. His worth should be in his accomplishments. Why am I carrying his load? It's like when you're in the army and you're not supposed to carry someone else's pack, because it means that you've just taken on more liability. So if they, weak or, so you don't carry their pack, you carry your own pack. We also keep our own kills. So if you've earned something, that's yours. Something my ex-husband didn't quite understand is like, weird. Anyway. But he didn't, and that's what made him feel insecure about his abilities and what he achieved as well, and he took it out on me. by being an asshole, but generally feeling insecure is because he wasn't achieving enough, but he didn't want to put the effort in to make the achievement. He just wanted the benefit of it without putting the effort in. He wanted to look like he had done it, but have someone else do it for him, which is pretty infantile, really. You know, I've got kids in the classroom at the moment where they'll be cutting something out and it will just get too, I want to say, overwhelming for them. I'm sitting there going, have you tried? Just try a little bit longer, stuff like that. But they'll sit there and they'll fold their arms and put their scissors down and say, I can't, you do it for me. I'm sitting there going, don't nope, you're going to have another go. We're not doing this today. You need to have a go and get going with it. But they'll sulk and they'll pout, and I'll give them more leeway because they're kids, they're little, and they don't understand the consequences. But as an adult, you don't get someone else to do it for you. You do it yourself. You'd have to have like a disability or something to get away with someone else doing it for you, like a care. Or maybe, you know, if you go to a doctor and they've got a better skill set at healing you or something like that, of course you defer to them because they're trained for it. But at the same time, it's just menial shit like cleaning up houses and stuff like that, or earning the main income. It's like, no, you should be both fighting to hold your own. Your value is in what you can do, which might sound a little bit ableist, but that's not what I'm directing this at. I'm talking about two independent adults existing in a relationship that can provide both equally. And if it's uneven, like if a guy was earning more than me, I wouldn't crack the shits. I'm not going to feel insecure. If I wanted to earn more, I'd go get a different job or a better paying job. You know, you sit there and take it out on your partner and try and grade them to make them feel like shit because they're doing better than you. It's fucked up. It's weird as well. It's like some guys say, the current discussion at the moment is you're sitting in your masculine power. That is the utter bullshit. Dude, I'm sitting in my competent adult power. That's all I'm doing. If you can't handle that the basic benchmark for being an adult is to be capable, then you need to fucking upskill or shut up. You know, it's like, these are not masculine and feminine traits. Being able to do stuff, being, you know, learning to skill yourself up is not a masculine trait, it's not a feminine trait. It is a capable adult trait. It comes with experience and mastery. It's like, oh, that's a masculine, you're standing in your masculine energy. Darling, if my masculine energy by that definition is intimidating to you, then you need to fucking question your masculinity. It's like, I don't even have the kit that you have, and apparently that gives you magic powers which makes you a certain way. I don't get it. But at the same time, have you ever thought just like not being useless? It sounds horrible. At the same time, I sit and go, why does me, a little girl by your standards, intimidate you because I can do things that you can't? I find these double standards to be interesting. I'm going, there's some weird shit going on there, dude. It's like you're scared of little girls because they can do stuff that you can't do, and then you label them as standing in their masculine energy. It's like, no. I'm standing in my adult energy because I put the time and effort in to learn the traits, to learn the skills, to not blame other people and play the victim and say, I can't do this because I'm a girl. So, you know, no. It's only guys that are insecure that label girls as weak. We're not weak. We might be physically weak. We don't have the testosterone levels to build muscle, but other than that, we're pretty capable. We know what we're doing. And most of the shit in our society today is fucking machine-based anyway. It's like, you guys aren't even using your strength. Everything's click button shit. So I don't know what your version of masculinity is. Oh my god, it's stupid. Anyway, I'm not going on to that because I'm nearly at work. But how can we make sure that what we are doing is the right thing? That's the question. Ethics always comes into play. The problem is when you're doing it for someone else. That's one problem. You need to consider whether that person is a good person, if it's worth it. Are they going to help you manifest on this project? Or are they just there to ride your coattails? Yes. A lot of people will hang around while you're working your ass off. I mean, have you ever read that little red hen story? Where she's like, who will help me grow the grain? Who will help me... Go YouTube it. It's a pretty good story. Who will make me eat the bread? Or make the bread? And then at the end, all the animals come around and it's like, I'll help you eat the bread. It's just like, you didn't help me do anything, so fuck off. You know? You gotta be mindful of people that are doing that, just hanging around to get the end product. That's another thing. If they're not helping, then they're probably hindering, because along the trip they're probably just taking resources off you as well. So you've got to be mindful of that. And I'm not talking about, you know, honest dependent people because they've got like a different ability or something like that, or kids. I'm talking about people who are more than capable, who choose to sit on their ass and let you do all the work. These fuckers gotta go. It's like they're not gonna help you. It's a pain in the ass. Ooh, that's bright. Hello, person. Manifesting, and it's got to be sound. It's got to be stable. You got to put the effort in. I'm trying to think. It's like it's all steps. It's like you can always put like a logical set of sequences to manifesting as well, like the scientific method. That's got a logical set of steps, and it does get an end result when you're looking for testing something. Oh, good gravy. Here we go. Actually, no, I can't there. Ooh, we're in the shade. So let's think about what we're gonna do. We've got 5 minutes. I don't even know where I am today. What's good for you? Oh shit me. How did I manage to park next to the only car with a person in it? Yeah, manifesting. What's it good for? I always find, like, because I'm more of a visual person, I always write down what I want to do. I've got a vision board, as lame as it sounds, because I wanted to see where I'm going. Some people do brainstorms. They do networking where they just lay it all out on a piece of paper and they say, I need to do all this, and these are the connected things. Some people go full crazy with the red string. I love that. But, you know, everyone's different. Some people can just visualize it in their head. But it's always good to have something to work towards. You've also got to put the energy in. You've got to show certain levels of humility. You've got to be able to address failure. You've got to show resilience. The not quitting side of things is you know, paramount if it's a good thing. If it's a bad thing, you got to know when to quit. That's the tricky part. So my uni degrees at this point, it's like I started getting very worn with the whole uni experience towards the end of them. I'm sitting there going, I was naively happy about the beginning of this. I was excited to get in. By the second year, you're like, I don't need to go to this lecture. This is bullshit. I don't need to read that chapter. And it does sound a bit arrogant, but at the same time, you're like, I know that they're only going to do so much, so... because they themselves exist in a sort of tired parameter. So you start to reevaluate what aspects you actually need to put energy into and which bits are not needed. So it's a constant sense of reassessment. That's part of the whole game. You know, it's generally just plowing through as well. Don't be overly optimistic, but at the same time, don't be pessimistic. You've got to be a realist about the situation. And always plan. Always plan. I mean, even in the army, they make plans, but they don't really always work out as well as they do. But if you don't have at least a base plan to work with, a working document for your projects and manifestations, you're not going to even get started, are you? Because you'll be like winging it. If it happens, it happens. No, you still make a base plan, and if you have to tweak it along the way, it works. You know, hopefully you get to the end result that you wanted to. And sometimes when you manifest, it doesn't actually come out as you thought. Maybe it'll come out better. Like when I was looking for my apartment I'm renting now, I was just looking for somewhere safe and clean that I could get a roof over my head because I was, you know, in a rush to find somewhere because I was getting evicted. I didn't realize it would be such a nice apartment and in a nice area. And I'm sitting there going, well, you know, maybe the universe intervened there and said, hey, this is shit circumstances. Let's give her something nice. And I'm like, But at the same time, it was a case of, you know, the universe intervening and saying, shit experience, have something nice for doing the right thing and leaving this horrible circumstance, mixed with the ability that I knew that I could afford this place. And I wouldn't be, you know, being sent into what is essentially a horrible crack den of a place in a block of tenement flats or something. You know, it's putting the effort in as well as getting the opportunity. And you've got to put them together and work towards that. You always want to load the dice in your favor, so you've got to put the effort in. Yeah, that's what I got to say about that. Anyway, I got to go because I got to go to work. I'm hoping you guys are manifesting ethically and well. for your higher good, not just for selfish need, not just for selfish, I want to be rich and I want to be, you know, I want Maseratis and shit like that. I've seen Maseratis, they're not that great. Anyway, kind of boring. I hope you have a fantastic Thursday. Put some energy and excitement into your, you know, lightning energy into your day. Hopefully it's only Friday, Freya's day. Take it easy, and hopefully I will see another podcast, maybe not tomorrow, but next week. And I'm going to upload these on the weekend, so hopefully I've got the energy to do it. And I'll see you later.